The sting of Erika Wachter being taken from us, soothed by the acquisition of Jacob Markstrom. Like your mother giving you a popsicle after you fall off of your bike and scrape up your knee. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are nonstop Devils talk, rumors, speculations, opinions, random thoughts, me blabbering Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And for those of you that have been rocking with me all year, I salute you and appreciate you. And before we get to Jacob Markstrom, the big news of the day, just another quick little tidbit on Erika Wachter and how cheap MSG most likely is. The writing really was on the wall, guys. The writing was on the wall months ago. And I was thinking about a lot of stuff today. I'm going to blabber a little bit, so bear with me here. A lot going on in this brain of mine. But the writing was on the wall months ago in December when we had the first annual, I should say, Hughes Bowl, when the Devils went to Vancouver, all three Hughes brothers playing in an NHL game for the very first time. Very special occasion in December. MSG decided to be cheap and not fly Erika Wachter and some of the crew out to the game. So she was doing her job remotely from a studio, most likely in New Jersey or New York. I'm not even sure exactly where it is. But she was doing the interviews and things remotely. And the technology or the IT department with an epic fail, it wasn't quite lined up. There was a massive delay as a result. The broadcast going from wherever she was to Western Canada. And she had Luke Hughes on and was supposed to interview him after, I believe it was the first period, where we honestly got one of the funniest impromptu exchanges of the season when he was with the headset on the ice, waiting to talk to Erika. The technology failed. He wasn't hearing, and he drops an on-air F-bomb, completely hilarious. And the video's actually on the channel. I'll put the link in the description if you didn't see that. MSG's cheapness was on display months ago. The writing was on the wall. Luke Hughes F-bomb on the air. Check out the video. It's hilarious. One of the funnier things that's happened during the season. But shame on MSG. We will miss Erika, and now we move on to the Jacob Markstrom acquisition. Fitzy's big game hunt has bagged its first trophy, and it comes in the form of a goaltender by the name of Jacob Markstrom. And wow, oh wow, it's the guy I wanted the whole time, and we brought him in for cheaper than I thought we could. And my earlier video, I got very excited, and as soon as it was announced, I jumped on here and made that video that I put out earlier yesterday. But some of the details trickled in, the little minuscule details, and they were pretty much beautiful to see in the Devils' favor. And I'll just read the official deal here. The New Jersey Devils announced today that the team has acquired goaltender Jacob Markstrom from the Calgary Flames in exchange for Kevin Ball and New Jersey's first-round selection in the 2025 NHL Draft, top 10 protected. So what that means is if somehow by some... Oh, it'd be an evil, evil twist of fate. But if somehow this Devils team is terrible again and we end up with a top 10 draft pick, it is protected, so the Flames would not get that. We would hang on to that top 10 pick, and the Flames would get our 2026 first-round draft pick. I don't anticipate that happening, as I told you all earlier, with Markstrom especially, and all the things that I believe are to come from Fitzgerald in terms of improving this team. There's no reason why we're not a playoff team, and that makes the pick, in the late 20s. And to be honest, like I've said time and time again, a late first-round pick next year, unfortunately, does not do anything for me. My appetite is for the win now, guys. It's time to win now. The window is now, and this move of bringing Jacob Markstrom here is a win-now move. Make no mistake about it. Fitzgerald is getting aggressive in his maneuvering, and I like it. I am here for it. We continue on with the rest of the details of the trade. Calgary will be retaining 31.25% of Markstrom's remaining contract, which after the season has 2 years left on a 6-year, $36 million deal, $6 million average annual value. Originally signed with the Flames on October 9th, 2020. The cap hit for those remaining 2 years will be $4,125,000. The announcement was made by President General Manager Tom Fitzgerald. And so with that, the deal got even better for the Devils, guys. The first-round pick next year is top 10 protected. So if in some diabolical, evil world we are a terrible team again, which, oh man, I won't, my liver won't be able to handle it. I'm going to lose hair. I'm going to start aging quickly. It won't be pretty for me, and I'm sure many of you. I don't anticipate it happening. We're going to make the playoffs, hopefully make a deep run, and the pick is going to be in the late 20s, and who cares? And on top of it being top 10 protected, just in case, Calgary's retaining money on this, 31.25%, and now he's coming to us at a cap hit of $4.125 million. I mean, this is Tom Fitzgerald getting it done. Tom Fitzgerald is getting it done. Retention on the deal with the protected pick. I love it. I love it. I think it's much less than I thought we were going to have to give up to get Markstrom here. And get on board, guys. Get on board. There is no reason to hate on this deal or talk smack about it. I've seen a few of you. You know, the internet's, I guess, a great collection of idiots, I suppose. And I guess I'm one of them. But the reality is, if you're shitting on this deal, you quite frankly don't know what you're talking about. What did you expect us to pay? Did you think we were going to get Jacob Markstrom for a third rounder? I mean, what did you really think? There were rumors that he wanted a high first-round pick and a prospect, and we got it for which should be a late pick next year in the first round, and Kevin Ball. And listen, not to talk smack on Kevin Ball. Appreciate your service, sir, Kevin Ball, the big ball. You know, I do believe he's going to develop into a good NHL defenseman. I do, but that's okay. He's going to do it in Calgary. Jacob Markstrom helps his team much more right now than Kevin Ball does, and there is no shortage of defensemen in free agency, and so I believe Kevin Ball will easily be upgraded in free agency. And I still believe there's going to be another defenseman traded out and a second defenseman brought in. Who knows how the orders of all these things are going to happen. I'm sure Fitz is very busy working the phones leading up to the draft. I'm sure there's tons of teams targeting our number 10 pick. But the fact that he brought Markstrom here for a which should be a late first-round pick next year, and Kevin Ball, and they retain salary, and it's a protected first-round pick, come on, guys. Be serious. We were never getting him for a third-rounder. There's plenty of other teams that could have mustered up a deal, and it was an amazing move by Fitz to bring him here at that cost. That is a big win for Fitz. Big game hunting is officially underway, and our first trophy is here, Jacob Markstrom. One of the biggest pieces everyone wanted. The goal is now addressed, a Markstrom-Allen tandem for next year, and I like it. I like it, but I will be taking evidence and things for the people naysaying the trade and talking shit about it, because you're going to be proven wrong in time, and I don't want to see these same people celebrating Markstrom and, oh, Marky, go and look at Marky, and all these people that are going to try to do an about face, you know, and celebrate Markstrom during the good times when they were down talking this trade and talking absolute smack right now. There's not many of them. They are in the minority. I believe the majority of the Devils fans are somewhat intelligent, and they see that from what the rumors were and to where we landed. I mean, we semi-robbed this guy. A late first-round pick, that's not helping us win the cup anytime soon, guys. A next year late first-round pick is not moving us forward in the now. Bringing in Markstrom is a win-now move. He has 2 years left, and now we got to go cup chase. And now we have to go cup chase, and I firmly believe that this is just the first of many plays for Fitzy. I really do. Listen, I've been super critical of Fitzgerald all year. You guys all know that. For those of you that have been watching me, the proof is in the videos. They're on the channel. I have called for his head at times, and I was furious. I believe, you know, giving up on last season was unacceptable and should be unforgivable. However, I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And until he fails to do what I think he's going to try to do, I'm here to just be along for the ride, because I think he's going to do what he says he's going to do. I really do. And the Markstrom is a win-now move. So, no, I don't think anyone thinks getting Jacob Markstrom is saving the team as a single move. But this is going to be in conjunction with some other moves, and Ball being shipped out in this deal is already proof of it. That's already at least one defenseman we need to replace him. And he's not going to go to the farm and look for a cheap replacement. He's trying to upgrade the position up and down the lineup. And we're going to see it very soon, I believe. Leading up to the draft, I think a lot of interesting things are going to happen. But the Markstrom era is officially underway, and I'm excited for it. And a lot of you who've been here for a while know that I thought he was the guy we were going to get. I thought it was very telling. I believe it was at the Stadium Series press event of some kind. Some reporters were talking to the great Martin Brodeur about current NHL goalies, and I believe the question was for him to rank his top 5 goalies in the NHL right now, and Jacob Markstrom, I believe, was either his number 4 or 5 on his list. So that kind of was a little bit of a foreshadowing, if you will, because Marty's obviously high on the guy. They played in the league at the same time for a few years. He was high on Marty's list, and so I believe that matters. I don't think Marty has any, definitive say or call on certain things like this, but I do believe he's brought into meetings, and I do think that they put some sort of stock in his opinion, as they should. I mean, the guy was the greatest to ever do it. The absolute GOAT, the greatest goaltender to ever play the game, revolutionized the game with his puck handling. They built a freaking trapezoid to try to negate his talents with being a third defenseman and pushing the puck up the ice and beating the forecheckers. It was a thing of beauty. I couldn't be happier that I was alive and living in New Jersey through the whole dynasty. And for those of you that are younger fans, just go back and watch the highlight videos. It'll never hit the same for you guys, But Marty's career in New Jersey was honestly, it was just a complete treat to be a part of, to experience, to live through. Some of my best memories as a kid are going to Devils games and watching Marty dominate. And it's just, when Jacob Markstrom's on your top 5 list, you know that Marty's going to be pitching. We should try to get this guy. Going back to last year, it seemed like a deal was close, never happened. And we finally come full circle now. And Jacob Markstrom is a New Jersey Devil. And for those of you that are saying his age and everything, we've addressed this already. But, old goalies have shown that they can perform at a high level throughout the years. Our own Marty Brodeur being one of them. In the 2012 finals, was a 40-year-old guy. Got us to the finals. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done against the Kings. They're an absolutely loaded team, and it was their time, and they got us. They really did, and it's kind of funny now that the Oilers are currently the most recent team to push the Stanley Cup Finals to a Game 6 after trailing 3-0. That Devils team did it in 2012 before we ultimately fell apart in Game 6 in LA. Steve Bernier, the boarding, the whole thing fell apart. Kings pile up the goals, and they skate the cup on their home ice. We couldn't force that Game 7 back in New Jersey, and that's one of the more painful losses, in my opinion, in the franchise of the New Jersey Devils, because after being down 3-0, they fought hard, got that Game 4 win on the road, forced it back to Game 5 in New Jersey. Absolutely stunning performance by Marty in Game 5. The Devils find a way to win that game, force Game 6 back in LA, and they just couldn't get it done. Had they found a way to win that game, coming back to New Jersey after trailing 3-0 and tying up the series at 3 apiece to force a Game 7, I do believe if the Devils won that Game 6, they 100% would have won the Game 7 at home at the Prudential Center, and it would have been, kind of a cup out of nowhere. No one really had the Devils as a preseason favorite to even compete for the cup, and that team just went on a magical run. And a lot of those guys will always have a special place in my heart as well. Not as special as the obvious cup champions that we had throughout the organization's history, but they were right there. They were conference champions, and they just couldn't get it done. So Markstrom's 34 years of age does not bother me. It's only a 2-year deal, and now his cap hit is $4.125 million. What are we talking about, guys? I didn't care even if there was no retention with this deal the way it was. A late first next year and ball. Like, even if there wasn't any retention, I wouldn't have complained. The fact that there is retention makes it even sweeter. And now it is on Tom Fitzgerald to spend as close to the cap as possible to really improve this roster. I'm hoping, that the retention's not just a savings for the owners to put in their pockets. Spend to the cap or very close to it. Maybe leave a little extra in, the just-in-case fund, if you will, for the salary cap. But you could really go out in free agency and do some damage and really come back to the NHL next season with a fresh new look. I mean, just Markstrom alone is huge to me. I honestly believe he is going to give us, at a minimum, competent goaltending on most nights, and I do think we will see flashes of elite goaltending from him. There will be stretches where he's going to steal us some games. He's that type of goalie. There are going to be games where we're like, wow, like, we didn't deserve to win this game tonight, and Markstrom got it done. He stole the game, and you need a goalie like that, especially in the playoffs, and I think Markstrom gives us that, and he gives it to us for 2 more years. I couldn't be more pumped. And so, yeah, for the people bagging on the age, listen, this deal was a great deal. It was a great deal. We lost nothing of true high impact to us. The pick is nonsense. Sorry, guys. And Kevin Ball is going to be replaced in free agency. And so, to me, there's tremendous upside of this deal with very low downside. The downside is if somehow Markstrom stinks the joint up and he's terrible, then we have to rely more on Allen and maybe one of the kids in the farm system. But the upside is the upside is tremendous. The upside is we win a friggin' Stanley Cup. And before you all come after me and say I'm crazy and this and that, I've said time and time again, I do believe in this core group. And with the right tinkering and tweaks, I do believe we could get over the hump. And Markstrom in net is the first step of that. And now, I'm not here to say that all of Tom Fitzgerald's sins of this past season are forgiven in my book, because they absolutely are not. They are not. I just can't forgive the, just sitting back idly, hoping and wishing, as he said, waiting for goalies to get better. They didn't, and, we missed the playoffs as a result. I don't know that we would have made a far run, but any playoff appearance in my book is always better than no playoffs, and that just, goes to the psyche and the mindset of the group. Making the playoffs and that just being how it is, and you're expected to make the playoffs every year, that's what the old Devils teams were built on, honestly. Nothing short of excellence was acceptable. Lou Lamoriello, the absolute OG legend, was in win-now mode every single year, and it was to his detriment in some years. But that's the type of maneuvering you want to see from your GM. Very proactive, and trying to put the best team on the ice to win now and not looking down the road and hoping to win in years from now. These are win now moves. And why I like it is, again, the upside is tremendous. The downside is not much. A late first-round pick in Kevin Ball, I'll take that chance any day. On the flip side, for those of you that I wanted Ullmark, I wanted Saros, let's just talk about Linus Ullmark for a second, right? Let's just say there's been a lot of rumors about what the asking price would be for him from Boston. A lot of rumors, nothing really substantial or, factual, a lot of speculation, but here's the reality. Let's just say Boston was saying, we want the number 10 and Dawson Mercer for Linus Ullmark, okay? Let's just say that was the deal. I'm sure a lot of you would have taken that. A lot of people would have said, give him the number 10 and give him Dawson Mercer. Let's get Ullmark. He's going to be great for us. A lot of you would have probably shot that down, but I think there's a good chunk of you that were so obsessed on Ullmark, you would have done that deal. And so now we lose a great young forward in Dawson Mercer and our number 10 pick, which could either get us a pretty solid player who should be contributing in the NHL in the next few years, maybe 3-4 years, I guess, depending on who it is, or a substantial piece via trade. So maybe, the number 10 goes for a top 6 forward or something else. That's a lot. And so not having to use the number 10 pick, not losing any what I would call significant roster players, because let's be honest, is anyone really going to consider Kevin Ball a significant roster player? I am not. To me, he was, slotted in our top 6 defensemen on our depth chart, but that's not significant. I don't think that's significant because he's going to be upgraded in free agency. And so to me, that is not a detrimental loss. We preserved the number 10 pick, no significant roster player lost, and we got a guy who could really make us a contender for the next couple years. Ullmark would have costed you Mercer and probably the number 10 pick. And then on top of that, while we got Markstrom at only a $4.125 million cap hit because of Calgary's retention, Ullmark may have been asking for a 6 to 8 year deal at $6 to $7 million per year. Again, I'm not saying that's exactly what it would have been, but somewhere in that range, a probably 6 to 8 year deal at $6 to $7 million. And this is why I've said for weeks now that I personally was not willing to take the gamble on Linus Ullmark, because that is a lot to gamble in that hypothetical scenario. A number 10 overall pick and a great roster player in Dawson Mercer for Ullmark to get him here, and then you're paying him all that money. If you whiff on a deal like that and Ullmark does not pan out, your team is hamstrung for a long time. That's a bad salary like that on your books, and this guy is not going to get the job done. It's a killer. It's eating up a lot of cap space. You lost significant assets to get him, and something like that could set a team back for years. And so I am glad we did not go with the high-risk, high-gamble play in Ullmark, and we made a very sensible acquisition at a great price, at an absolute great price. It has tremendous upside. If anyone's going to tell me firmly that Jacob Markstrom could never win a cup with New Jersey, you're on drugs. He gives us a very good chance, assuming the rest of the roster is addressed as I expect it to be throughout the rest of this offseason, but he legitimately could bring a cup to New Jersey. If that's it. We didn't pay a lot for him. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. We have Jake Allen. We have all the kids in the minor leagues. Dawes, probably Schmid, Isaac Poulter, Jacob Malik, Tyler Brennan. If one of those guys can't step up, like I've said before, we need to get a new scouting department, because you can't have 5 goalies that were all useless. If we don't believe any of those guys could be the guy for the future, then what the hell are we even drafting goalies for? And that's why I'm glad we didn't get Ullmark, because Ullmark is not a short-term solution. Markstrom is a stopgap. He's here for 2 years at a minimum. And like I said, who knows? Maybe he finds the fountain of youth and we bring him back for a third. But the point is, it's a very small investment for a short period of time. And I love it. It's a win-now move. Win-now move. If you go get Ullmark and we made an Ullmark deal, that's a long-term move, and essentially that tells me you're going to overpay for this guy, hope and pray for the best that he does pan out, because you don't believe in any of the other kids we have in the minors, any one of those 5. So I'm glad we didn't do it, because to me, if we did sign Ullmark or trade him and then eventually extend him, that means you wasted all those picks on the goalies. What did you pick the goalies for? If none of them if none of them are going to pan out, then all those picks were a waste. I mean, what are we talking about? And so I love the move. It sets the table for the next 2 years, at a minimum, potentially a third. before someone gets groomed by Markstrom and they take over the reins. I love it. I love the potential succession plan as it is here. And we should be set in net for a while, guys. I really believe one of those kids will step up. But either way, you have other options at that point if they don't. You have other options if they don't pan out. But for the right here, right now, for the next 2 years, we have Markstrom, and he could be a horse for us. I was watching the Jacob Markstrom media availability when he did the little interview online, and people are asking him questions. I mean, honestly, some of these it's hard for me sometimes because I think some of these questions are so dumb. Like, I don't know. These people got to get better at asking questions. But anyway, pretty much standard stuff was asked, nothing earth-shattering. But one of the funnier things that someone pointed out in one of the comments before I actually got to watch the video, and then I chuckled when I saw it, someone asked Markstrom towards the end of it about analytics, or like if he's an analytics guy, and he was like, not really. I'm into stopping pucks and trying to win. I'm interested in W's. So I thought that was kind of funny. Again, just to poke at the analytics crowd a little bit. I think analytics have a place. I just think they're way overemphasized now, and I would like to see, as I've said time and time again, a little more of the eye test, and maybe a little more of the gut test, gut feeling in some scenarios, because I don't think everything can be answered through charts and graphs, but I digress. And now in terms of a workload split, if I'm the New Jersey Devils, I'm going to kind of get a good pulse on Markstrom throughout the season. And I'm going to listen to him. The guy is a veteran. Marty months ago talked about the state of goaltending in today's game, and I completely agreed with him. That was a whole long other thing. You could find the video on the channel as well. I do think a lot of these goalies are pampered. I know the game has changed over time, and it's not the same league that Marty played in. However, I don't think it's some egregious ask or physically impossible for some of these starting goalies today to play 55, 60 games. I really don't. You don't see many guys even hit the 55 mark anymore. When Marty played, there was some years he started 78 games, 74, 73. Marty was an absolute force. And as time goes on, his legend grows in my book, to be honest. To be there and live it in real time as it was happening was phenomenal. And as I get older and reflect back on it, when I see, kind of the current state of goaltending in the league in general, some of those legends from those times are just, there's not many guys like him, and it's crazy. Marty was an absolute workhorse. On top of being one of the greatest to ever do it, and in my opinion, the greatest goaltender of all time, the fact that he was able to play for so long at such a high level and play so many games and demand that net, you weren't stopping Marty from taking that net. He played tons of back-to-backs, and it was just, it's a testament to his endurance and just his durability. I mean, Marty was an absolute monster. But in terms of workload here, if I'm being honest, I hope Markstrom plays, 54, 55 games, leaving Jake Allen with about 27. I would accept maybe 50, 52. But if they start getting cutesy with like this, I don't want it to be a tandem. Like Markstrom really needs to be the entrenched, true starter, number one guy. And I would like to see him play 55 games. If it was up to me, if I had to just pick a number right now, I would say Markstrom needs 55 starts. That leaves 27 for Allen. And barring injuries or any sort of lengthy struggles from Jacob Markstrom, it's his net. It's his net, and I want to see him play the bulk of the games. I might even give him 60 games if it looks like, he's up for it and he's physically feeling good and healthy and everything else. 60 games, I don't think is out of the question either. And I think with Marty being an executive in the organization, Markstrom might be able to play a little more than he would in some other scenarios. I could see Marty potentially going to bat for him to give him a little more playing time if Markstrom is in the zone and he thinks that he could do it. And so, official prediction or what I'd like, though, I think 55 to 60 is good. Leaving Jake Allen with 27, 25 starts, something like that. And I could not be more excited for the season. It's going to be a monster one. And we touched on a lot here. Throw anything else in the comments about the Markstrom deal, Fitzy, but the big game hunting is underway. Our first trophy is in the bag, and I really have high hope for Fitz. I really have high hopes for him. I'm going to have a bunch of videos coming out in the next few days. I got a lot on the brain, a lot of things I'm working on. But throw anything out there in the comments about Markstrom, about Fitz. Hopefully those of you that aren't in love with the trade right now will eventually grow to love the trade and grow to love Markstrom, because I do believe with a couple more tweaks on this team, we are going to be nasty next year, and you're going to see what all of us that were praising the Markstrom deal saw before you did. Don't judge it now. Don't be one of those people, because for the people that, shit on the deal, I'm coming for you when Markstrom is a beast. Likewise, I will wear it and own it if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. But if I am, and Markstrom turns out not to be the guy we thought we were getting, not the guy we hoped we were getting, I will be the first to come on here and eat a shit sandwich and tell you all I'm an idiot. I got fleeced by Markstrom, and the few of you that were detractors of the deal and hating on it the whole time, you were right. And it'll hurt my soul to do it. But I'm a big enough man to come on here and tell you all that I was wrong. Markstrom wasn't the guy. We should have went and got Omar. We should have went and got one of these guys. But I have a sneaking suspicion that I will not be wrong. I think Markstrom's going to look like that guy behind a revamped defense, a hungry team, a new coach in Sheldon Keefe, and it's a good time to be a Devils fan, guys. It is an exciting time. I am super looking forward to next season. I haven't looked forward to a season this long in a very long time, and Fitz is just getting started. It's June 20th, late night when I'm recording this, or the wee early hours of the morning, I suppose. It's not even late night anymore. It's early morning, but we have a whole summer of maneuvering, and I think a lot of it's going to get done early. You know, we still have a potential of dealing the number 10 pick and making a big splash, and free agency, I believe we're going to be active, and we're going to be signing checks. Signing checks. July 1. Throw everything out there in the comments. Tons more videos coming. Poke around on the channel if you're new. Thank to all the new subscribers and viewers and everybody coming in. Love you all. Love the Devils. Check out the channel. We have a lot of interesting stuff up there from the last few days. And I'm going to be back with a lot of stuff in the next few days. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving and shaking, and a lot on the mind. I'll be back soon. I will talk to you all soon. Markstrom is going to be the man. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.